Hey guys, so we are going to start off Algebra 1 learning or relearning for some of you the order of operations. So a lot of people have been taught order of operations by remembering the phrase PEMDAS, and each of the letters stand for the order in which you're going to solve the equation, right? So we have that basically written down here, but it's written down in steps. So I'm going to highlight each of the steps and what each of them mean, and you can be reminded of them. So the P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses. So when you see a set of parentheses, you're going to solve what's inside the parentheses first. The E stands for exponents. That's step 2. So once you see exponents, or if you see exponents in it, you're going to solve those ones next. The M and the D go hand in hand, and you work from left to right with those. And those stand for multiplying or dividing. So they go hand in hand. You do those pretty much at the same time, but you work from left to right. Okay, so you're always going to work from left to right with that. And then the A and the S stand for adding or subtracting. So you're going to, again, add and subtract last, and it's going to be left to right. So there is PEMDAS, the order of operations, and now we're going to do it with a couple of examples. So in the first example, notice that we're looking for parentheses first, and there is a set of parentheses in this example, and it's 9 times 3 in the parentheses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the rest of the problem, and I'm going to solve what's inside the parentheses. So I still have 21 divided by 3 plus 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to write that down. Times 9 plus 5. Now we got the parentheses solved. So next we look for exponents. However, there are no exponents in this problem that I see. So I move on to multiplication and division, but again from left to right. So multiplication and division, I'm going to highlight in green that I have to do 21 divided by 3 first, because that's the leftmost, and I'm going to have to do 27 times 9 next, okay? So if I do that out on the calculator, 21 divided by 3 is 7, plus 27 times 9 is 243, plus 5. And then the last step, according to PEMDAS, is adding and subtracting. So all of this, and again from left to right, so all of this is adding and subtracting from left to right, so we're just going to simply add all of those numbers together. So we have 7 plus 243 plus 5, and that equals 255. So our final answer here is 255. All right, let's try using PEMDAS for the next example. Again, we look for parentheses. So there are a set of parentheses in here, so that's what I'm going to solve first. 24 divided by 8, and I'm going to write down the rest of my problem. So I have 14 minus 8 plus 3 plus 8 times, and 24 divided by 8 is 3. So I did that first set. Next, I look for exponents, which there are none, again. And then I look for multiplication or division. So if I'm looking for multiplication division, I can tell that there is 1. I can see that there's 1 there, and it's 8 times 3 at the end. So I'm going to solve that one next, and I'm going to rewrite my problem again. So I have 14 minus 8 plus 3, and 8 times 3 is 24. And then the last step is always the adding and subtracting. Again, remember, when you are adding and subtracting, you do it from left to right. So if we do that from left to right, we're going to do 14 minus 8 plus 3 plus 24. And we should get an answer of 33. And that's your final answer there. So next, we're going to scroll down here and do a couple more problems on this page. In the next example, I see a set of parentheses right here. So I'm going to do that first according to PEMDAS, and I'm going to write down the rest of my problem. So I have 4 times 5 plus 14 plus 8 is 22 minus 36 divided by 9. The next one, I'm going to highlight the multiplication and division piece, because that's what comes next, as there is no exponents in these. So I'm going to have to do 4 times 5 and 36 divided by 9 next. So if I do that, 4 times 5 is 20. I still have the plus 22 that carries down. And then I'm actually going to call this what is 36 divided by 9 is 4. So I'm just going to write a minus 4. And then the last step, as in all of these in PEMDAS, is subtracting from left to right. So I'm just going to add and subtract from left to right. So I have 20 plus 22 minus 4 is 38. So my final answer is going to be 38. Okay? And in the last one, we have two sets of parentheses in this last one. So again, we're going to solve those ones first. I'm going to highlight them here. And I'm going to solve them and rewrite the rest of my problem. So I have 28 divided by 4 is 7. Still have a plus 3. Plus 10 minus 8 is 2. And then have a times 5. According to PEMDAS, multiplication and division would be next because there are no exponents. So I'm going to highlight that I'm going to do 2 times 5. That's the only multiplying or dividing going on there. So then I have 7 plus 3. 2 times 5 is 10. And then I'm just going to add and subtract from left to right. In this case, it's just adding. So you have 7 plus 3 plus 10, which is 20, is your final answer there. So that is order of operations for the first topic in this unit. The next topic in this unit is evaluating algebraic expressions. So basically taking values for a variable, because algebra is all about the variables, x, y, a, b, and you're going to take whatever those variables represent and plug them into an equation to solve. So look at your steps that are highlighted here. First, we are going to replace each variable with the assigned value, and then we are going to simplify using the order of operations again, the PEMDAS. But here's a little reminder over here. It says that, remember, that 3 squared, or 3 to the second power is how you would read that, means 3 times 3, which is 9, okay? So whenever we are evaluating that, remember exponents means a number times itself, okay? So let's try plugging it in. So the first one, they give us that 4, x is 4, and then they give us that y is 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug those numbers in for the appropriate letter. So x is green and y is blue for me, and I'm going to plug that in. Again, if you do not have highlighters or anything like that, totally fine. You can just point to and show on your piece of paper where things go, right? You can use an arrow. So I'm going to put 4 in for x, and I'm going to put -5 in for y. So if I do that, I have 4 minus, and I'm going to use parentheses around the negative sign so that I know that there is a double negative there. And then if any of you remember, whenever you have a double negative, it turns into a positive. So this then becomes 4 plus 5, which is 9. So our final answer here would be 9. All right, in the next problem, we have that A is 5 and B is 3. So notice the A is what's getting squared and the B is what's getting added in the end. So if we go plug in those numbers, we have 5 squared plus 3. So according to PEMDAS, we're going to have to do the exponents first. There are no parentheses, so we go to exponents. 5 squared then is 25, because remember it's 5 times 5, plus 3, which is a final answer of 28. Let's look at a couple more examples down here. At the bottom of your page, you have these last couple examples where they add in a couple more different operations. So in this next example, we have that x is 48 and x is on top here. And we have that y is 4 and y is on the bottom there. So if I plug that information in, I have 48 divided by, that fraction symbol means divided by, 4 squared. Again, according to PEMDAS, you still have to do the exponents first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 48 on top, and I'm just going to evaluate 4 squared. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. And then I'm going to divide. So 48 divided by 16 is 3 for our final answer. And the last one. So in the last one, we have D is -4, and you're going to multiply that. And you have F is 3, and we're going to multiply that as well. So whenever you have a letter and a number next to one another, the operation that is going on there is multiplying. So if you have 2x or 2y, that means 2 times x or 2 times y. So I'm going to write this here, 2 times, and I'm going to open up parentheses for my times. So D is -4, so I'm going to put -4 there. And then I still have a minus sign in between the two. And 4 times F is 3. So I'm going to use parentheses for my times. Okay? And then if I follow PEMDAS, I'm going to do the times first, right? So 2 times -4 is -8, minus 4 times 3, which is 12. Following integer rules, notice that these have the same sign. They both have negative signs, so you're going to add and keep the sign. So your answer should be -20. And that's your final answer there. So try it on Alex and let me know if you have any questions. You can email me, or I'm always available on Zoom on Wednesday afternoons during our period times. All right, good luck.